In this live coding session, let's put a bow and finish off the Xcode speed settings we were tweaking to help TDD. And then let's move on and start with CI/CD. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Folks already here. Hey, Marcus, good to see you here. Garbob, dsmith42, thank you for your subscription to support this stream. Alex, Alfredo, hey, good to see y'all. Other folks will come probably, we'll see. I don't really, hey, Ignacy, thank you also for your subscription. Haresh, gosh. Good to have you all. I don't really have any, announcements. First time chatterer. Thank you, N8. So I am not doing the advent of code. I never have. I think I poked at it with somebody else once, but it's not really my thing. So if you're going for it, go for it. I've been keeping my eye on a different advent, which was an advent of crafting, which was not around software coding puzzles, but it's about crafting practices. But it's in Java, which made me think, gosh, what if I took it and republished, converted it into Swift, but then it would always be a few days later. Pardon my frog. Test. Okay, there's my voice. So that's who is doing the advent of code? Marcus, if you're asking, I assume you are. Anybody else? There have been more folks joining. Michaela's here. Okay, we're done. Thank you for joining, and I'll see you next week. No, I'm kidding. But yeah. I don't think that playgrounds was the Advent Swift version of Advent offering up playgrounds? Yes, I've used playgrounds for maybe 10 minutes tops. I'm sorry. It's cool. I like the interactivity of it, but most of my interactivity comes from working with tests. So I'd rather have, as you say, the good support from everything else, the rest of the tools. And yeah, Nova looks interesting. So a new editor. We'll have to keep our eyes on that. All right. What are we doing? Where are we? The cool thing about a discovery tree is there's the legend along the top. Let's see if this works this time. Oh, it will. Woohoo! I can circle things. There's the legend showing you very quickly. Yeah. You can talk about whatever you want. I just won't necessarily pay attention because I've got to stay on target. So in our discovery tree, which is a way to visualize work, is a good way, for example, to communicate across a team. What are we working on now? And it's a good way for a manager to glance over and see what's going on. What is the team? What has the team done, and what have they not started yet? And so a manager can look and see, okay, the team's still working on project setup because it's in progress, marked with the orange here. And after project setup is the rest of the owl over here. So that's That's later. What are they doing? They're improving Xcode settings, and after that, they'll work on CI/CD, and that's sort of the plan today. So, on the speed front, what was nice about reviewing the recording of the last session is, rather than relying on my my reactions on my stopwatch, I could actually see, okay, I started the test here, and then scrub the video timer until I saw the test completed, and then it's like, okay, I could get more precise measurements. So this is a discovery tree. It comes from Fast Agile, and once again, I'm scrapping. Let me see if I go to Miro and create a new board, this time from the templates. This time it should work. If I look up discovery tree, here we go, from Steve Quo, and say, yeah, use this template, and the template starts off the template is, more than the bare bones template. It's a description of how to use the thing. And let's see if we have an article. Article. I thought Steve updated the article link, but I'll go find it real quick. Here it is. I'm going to share this in the chat so you can all read about it. It is a great way to work. Just a great way to work. All right, let's go back to our board. So one thing I did also was able to do was reboot my machine. I don't think you have to reboot to have a daemon start up. I think all you have to do is log out and log back in. But I was able to confirm that and run some tests on Yeet and see that it doesn't make it perfect, but it carved off a good 20 seconds from first launch when starting tests in a simulator. So that's significant. That it's really, really big. Also, Xcode, I mean, it's an Xcode bug, right? Or a system bug. There is an Xcode 15.1 beta that claims, among its other things, to improve that first launch of tests. And I got the beta. I don't usually play with betas, but I got it and played around with it. And is it better? Yes. Is it as good as Yeet? No. So I think Yeet is going to be here to stay for a little bit in my repertoire. So I'm going to mark this as done. Something from Essential Developer. We can use the Mac target to speed up unit tests as we need. No need to launch simulator. Yeah. That is something worth investigating probably later on down the stream as the project gets established, is what tests can we move so that it has no host or a Mac target. That's really interesting. Yeah. So we'll probably play with that maybe down the road. Okay, so what have we done? we've done all these things to speed up tests, and yeah, here you see remove host app as something I decided to punt. I don't think I put a punt in the legend yet. I'm not going to worry about that. There are a couple things that we haven't done. One is to delete the canned tests. So let's do that. I do have my system warmed up right now. And if I just get over to my stopwatch, it gets, less and less precise the smaller the time gets, the shorter the time gets, but should be able to see something. Go. So it's 2 seconds. 2 seconds right now. And what we mean, because this was a collective effort, let me mark this as in progress, is the canned tests. These are the ones that come when you set up a new target. There are so many projects out in the world, in the wild, that have these there. And this one in particular, the performance, this is doing like repeated tests of like, I need to measure this, so I'm going to run this a few times and get some averages and so on, and also record averages, and it's like, it's chewing up time. So let's get rid of this. What I'd like to do is just delete it, move to trash. Now, if I run tests now, they'll fail, because the test runner goes, where are my tests? Where are my tests at? So we have git inbox tests. Here's a question I have. Before I create a new, just something, yeah, before I create a new dummy test thing, what names do we want? This was a question I pondered as I was messing around with the project a bit. And by that, I mean, what do we want to call tests? And actually, do we want where do we want them to live? Again, this is going to be more stuff down the road, but I don't like the pattern of having tests living so far away from the production code that you essentially have to mirror the structure of your production code. So I'll probably move this at some point. But the other thing is, like, do we want a different name for the test target, or is that okay? Maybe it's okay. Why don't we say it's okay for now? And for now, I'm gonna go ahead and stick a new. So if you aren't already using this, I share this a lot, but I feel like, yeah, we'll stick with the default name for now, at least. If we change our minds, we can change our minds later. There is my quality coding test templates, the Objective-C one and the Swift one. I feel like I'd like. It's not that I want more people to use it, because I don't get anything out of it. I don't. It doesn't serve my ego or anything. I just think it will help people more, as opposed to setting up one of these. If you set up a unit test case class, here, let's just do this. I'll just call it food tests. And sure. And yeah, stop asking me questions. Right, so it's the same thing. It's the same start that we just got rid of. If you have your own custom templates, good for you. Yeah, that's cool. So, whoops, not new project. So if you instead come here, and I'm just going to call these, I don't know, placeholder for now. My gosh, stop asking me. I don't want a bridging header. Objective-C will not figure into this project. What we end up with is something much smaller and a failing test that's called test 0. So it's clearly like not the first test, it's more like the 0th test. It imports the project, or it attempts to import the project. It takes a guess at it. It doesn't get it perfect all the time, but this wasn't there if you do the other, the Apple one. It has a couple more things. One is that it marks the test case as final for just a smidge of speed up if you have test helpers. It also marks it as main actor, because I found that unless I did that, stuff that worked with actors would complain and it would become a pain. So I am using JetBrains Mono. Where's my template? Why, thank you for asking. Let's go. So yeah, I do use zombies. Let's see, template. Here we go. Stick that in here. There you have it, Michaela. Check it out, play around, give me any feedback. And you don't have to love it, of course. Right, so let's time this now. I want to call out the thing that El Tigre says. Just mention it, that zombies, if you haven't heard of it, is a useful way of thinking about, like, oh gosh, how do I TDD? What directions do I need to take for TDD? And we'll get into that maybe another time. All right, here I go. Ready, set, go. That was still 2 seconds. I wonder if it's the failing. It was a little longer. Let me warm it up again. 1, 2, go. Oh, there we go. That was definitely under 2 seconds. So before it was 2 seconds. So just getting rid of the canned tests saves time. It's not much time, but all those I'm really want to drive in and reduce as much waste as I possibly can, because we run tests so much when we're doing TDD, like all the time. So I am going to call this, just to make it so it passes, I'm going to delete the failure. Yeah. So there we go. Let's check this in. And this is, I'll do it this way to remind everyone. So this is a test only change. So it is lowercase with no nasty, it's not uppercase, and it has no alarming exclamation points. So it's super low risk. Remove Apple placeholder tests, or replace with our fast one. like that. And push that up. Okay. Oh, my checklist. Okay. So this is done. This is also, I think, why last time I ran over. I tried to do these for 1 hour, these sessions, and I really thought, we could get it done, and we went over by 15-20 minutes or something like that, and it's like, no, I'm going to try to stay within the time box, because here we are still working on Xcode settings. Turn off coverage. That might improve things just a little bit, because coverage is not helpful for TDD. Not usually. Not until you mess it up and are wondering about yourself. And even then, it's generally not useful. So why have it at all? We can even see that it's measuring test coverage of the tests. That's completely useless. We've got the test app. Oh, I renamed main to main entry point, so that I could have test app and get inbox app. I think this becomes clearer. And you can see that the tests, the coverage is showing us that we are no longer entering the main app window of the production code. So let's get rid of that. So let's coverage. That's to show or hide it. That's not what I want. I think what I want is in here. No. Configurations. You know what? Apple, if anyone from Apple is watching, what would be great is to be able to do a search in here, because this list is getting kind of longish. And you think it's on the edit? I think it's moved. It used to be there. Right click the GitHub box. Yeah, I think it used to be in schemes, but now it's managed. It's not in here anymore. It's if you have an older project, it'll be that way, but with new projects, it starts off with a test plan. Yeah, yep. So let's see, coverage. Code coverage on. Here we go. Off. All right. Will that make any difference to speed? I don't know. Let's see if my twitchy fingers are fast enough. So I came in at about 1.7 seconds. We'll call it, I think it's more like 1.6 to if adjust for my reaction time. Here we go. 1, 2, go. Nope, that was slow. Let me try again with the change. 1, 2, go. Oh, 1.8. 1.7 again. So I don't know if it makes a difference, but let's get rid of it. Why not? So let me make that change straight from code, if I can remember how. Okay. And this is an environment change. So it's lowercase e. turn off code coverage. Did it work? Seems to have worked. Hey, welcome 69 Lenses. Glad to have you. Wow. If you're just starting your journey into Apple development, you ought to come check out the happy hour, iOS Dev Happy Hour, which is now moved to Discord, or is in the process of moving to Discord. But it's not just a online thing. It's a periodic. Michaela, help! It's a periodic get together. Thank you. And a good place to meet people, and you could get encouragement and find, I don't know, just fellow travelers. I think, Marcus, I think I've blessed you now. So you should be able to post links. Even if you get slapped multiple times, I don't think it's a problem. Okay. All right. We are done. Once we're all green, what you do, here's how it works. You now say, okay, except for the thing that we punted, we're all green. So you go up one level and say, then this is done. And you say, what's next? And you look at along the to-do, the light yellow items, and say, what do we want to do? Well, let's work on CI. I should make a slight digression here. When I say CI and CD, what do I mean? I sigh a little bit because I'm saying CI because that's how everyone talks about build servers. And that's not the same thing. Most people using, I shouldn't say most. There are a lot of folks out there using build servers who are not using CI. Just because you have a build server doesn't mean you are using CI. CI is a practice. It is not a tool. It is continuous integration of your team's code, that you are integrating your code changes into the main branch at least once a day. In practice, when we're really humming and doing trunk-based development, it could be many, like tens of times per day. That we get our changes integrated in. But that said, let's work on the build system that will take the changes and run tests for us and say, good or bad. Now we have a single passing test. We might want to make it fail. Now that I think about it, I might want to make it fail so that I can watch it fail on the build system. And as far as what build system, let's do that. I am not inclined to use Xcode Cloud. I'm cheap like that. And I still have a frog in my throat. And I see there are even more people here. Welcome. I'm cheap. I'm already paying Apple too much money to just to keep an app up that barely anybody uses, that I coded for a family member, and I don't want to take it down because then she would be sad, right? So instead, I would like to use GitHub Actions. How do we do that? Well, here's how we'll do that. I don't believe in branching as much as possible, and especially, or I should say, as little as possible. Uh, in this case, since it's the first step, I think it would be fine. Nobody else will be monitoring the build. Even if I had a whole team of people, if this is the first step, we understand. Actually, what we would do is we would work together on this because everyone is blocked by this. Here's another question I want to address. Why am I starting this when I haven't coded a single line of Git inbox? Wouldn't it make more sense to do what the project says, which is TDD in a Swift UI world? I'm sure everyone is eager to see that. I'm eager to see that. So why am I wasting time doing CI and CD? And it's from that we want to get value all the way to the customer. And I have a customer for this. His name is Stephen Baker. He's the one who suggested the project, and so I'd like to get value all the way through. Ship. If I were working with a client, I'd be like, look, we need to get hello world from our computer to your phone. If we can't do that, nothing else matters. We've got to get it all the way through, a vertical slice, all the way through the system, end to end. So, we might just jam on Michaela's GitHub action there. I'll take a look in a second. So that's why we're working on it. Oh, but I don't want to use Fastlane. I want to minimize my dependencies. Yeah, even though Fastlane, I know Fastlane does deployment too. Least friction. And here I am thinking, but I don't like dependencies. All right, let's see. Let me just take a look, Michaela, at your project here. Whoops. Open that in a new window, please. Thank you. All right. For those of you who are new to the world of GitHub Actions, the way it works is you create a .github folder and stick stuff in there. And so you can see here we have, in Michaela's project, a thing to run unit tests. And it starts with, let me make this bigger. How's that? It starts with like what triggers this action, and this is a good one. We'll come back. What should it run on? Check out the code, prepare some stuff, update dependencies, and here it's using Fastlane to run unit tests. Oh, Michaela. Here I am instead working on this. Well, I guess I'm sort of doing the same thing. I'm setting it up even though I don't have any tests. So let's start. In mine, here from my project, there is a nice terminal thing you can get called GH. The main reason I use it, the only command I like, is browse. It has a bunch of other commands that you can operate on GitHub from the command line. Yeah. Bunch of things, but the only one I ever use is I want to open the repo in the browser. I can see how it would really help with PRs, but I'd rather not use PRs. And I don't mean just for this project. I mean, like, that's a topic for another time. Okay, so here's my project. It has no .github, so let's make that. Let's make that. Xcode doesn't make it easy to work with other files that are in the source tree but are not part of the project. Yeah. Life without PRs. I should say life without PRs for when you're working inside of a company. For open source, absolutely PRs. It makes total sense, but not when you're working together. So Xcode doesn't give us a way to get at stuff. Maybe I will fire up. Doggone my frog. I'm okay. What if I shouldn't bring up app code. I should bring up something else. I should bring up IntelliJ or something. Why? Because it's well, I'll show you. It's easier. I want a tool that works with YAML, and maybe actually maybe Sublime is already fine. Maybe it will do YAML for me. Yeah, we need YAML. That's how you write GitHub Actions. And the JetBrains editors, the IDEs, they support all sorts of things, including, YAML, JSON, XML, and so forth. Kind of works. Yeah, that's where I'd want auto formatting. Tell you what. Let's see what we got here. Why don't I would fire up app code. I did fire up app code, but VS Code has a YAML extension. I am gonna sort of cheat by bringing up IntelliJ, and whoops, I shouldn't show you any work. Mistake. New project. I don't want a project. Darn it. Uh-oh. Marcus, sorry. Sorry about that. I'll bless you again. I think something, maybe it was the name change? No, you didn't change your name. That wasn't you. VS Code. You know what? Let's stick with the Sublime for now. Okay. Maybe that's why. Maybe I haven't caught up to your name. I have now dirtied my stream with IntelliJ stuff. Oops. I mean app code. So let me get. I don't think reset will work because it's not part of. It's actually not in here. What do I want to do? I want to do a clean. Get clean. There we go. All right. Let us make a .github and go in there. And inside of here, I'm going to pull up another project of mine. Which one would... I mean, if I really want to go old school, go to Hamcrest. Workflows. Not going to set up Dependabot yet. Workflows. And inside of workflows. Okay, so here's my build YAML. Let's go back here and I'll call it build and test. No, it's really build. If it fails the test, it fails the build. Right, so the first thing we need is a name. Next is what triggers it. What did you have, Michaela, on yours? On workflow dispatch. What is workflow dispatch? Oh, is it going to tell us? Oh, I thought it would tell us. Push branches main dev. I think workflow dispatch might be manual. Thank you. I do want that at least at first. So let's, in fact, that might be a good place to start. On. I'm going to have to make sure I get these indents right. Yeah, so let's start there. And what do we do? Jobs. This one, I think I actually want something else. No, I do have it on macOS 13. Oh, for this project, Hamcrest, I had to specify macOS 13 to because there was a bug around I had to use the right Xcode, and that meant I had to use the right OS and so on. But isn't there a way to say macOS isn't like latest? Something like that? Hey, Mr. Big, welcome. So I'm working on an Xcode project. It's going to be a Swift UI project, and did I blow away the discovery tree? No, here it is. We're working, it's going to be doing a Git inbox for looking at messages. We are working on project setup, and we've gone through and we've tweaked Xcode settings to make tests fast, and now we are working on setting up the build server. I think macOS latest is it. Let's confirm that in another thing. What have I got? Looking at yet another one. It's good to have several. Yeah, macOS latest on this one. So, hello, Green Spore. First time chatter, good to have you. What did I build in Apple? I've nothing that you'll ever find. I think as my time at Apple was short and long ago. What do we want to do? Oh, now here's something. Let me grab these steps. Long ago, long ago. Here's something we would like. What are the steps we would for build? This is not without tests. This is like build and test. Like it to check out the code, and then I want it to run the tests. And what is that? Here's a thing, pro tip that I learned from Llewellyn and Falco is that you ever run into situations where the job fails on the build server, but it works for you locally? It's like, oh no. One way to make it, it's not guaranteed, but one way to help make it easier is to say, is to pretend I can run all this locally. Well, we can't. Actually, I don't know if maybe somebody has tools to do GitHub Actions locally. But what we can do is say, well, we're going to do this part locally in a script. So let's set that up. Back to Git inbox. Let's make a run tests. Okay, let me clean this up because this is starting to get unwieldy. And I can't keep track of things. Oops. Let me lock. How do I lock the background? I can grab all this and yoink it over and make some room. So what we have done is we've discovered that there are substeps. And I want to yoink. I want to say make local make script. And then this one we're sort of working on, but this is GitHub Actions. So this is also, there are similarities to the Mikado method, which is a great book. At least the beginnings of it. Yeah, the idea of the Mikado method is great, and it's similar to Discovery Tree in that you discover like, oh, there are preconditions. What the Mikado method does, that unlike a discovery tree, there's nothing about the discovery tree that says I should now reset. I kind of don't want to throw away what I've started here. In the Mikado method, you're like, I discovered a requirement, so now I reset everything and work on the next node down to fulfill the sub requirement so that I can work on the thing. It's easier than it sounds. Thank you. I'm curious about this running actions locally. I'll check that out. Gosh, we're already running. It's already 20 past. Unbelievable. So let's make a script. And this should be somewhat straightforward, except we have to make it match what we have over in GitHub land. But let's start. Let's start anywhere. Any progress is better than thinking around. So here we go. Let's create run tests. And again, let me see what I have here. Okay, I'm just going to take this and slap it in. What does it do? We need to run project, not approval tests. This will be git inbox. Scheme is git inbox, I believe. Let's double check that. Yes. iPhone simulator. And I probably want to update this. But for now, no, let me use the simulator I have here, and then we'll find out if GitHub has it. So this is the first thing we're going to do. Let me also now make this runnable by doing the Unix command chmod plus X to make it executable, and like I want this for all my scripts. And that will make it easier to run the tests by going like that. So now I should be able to do this, and let's find out. There we go. All right, so that is good. Let's commit this. Let us commit run tests. And this is an environment change. Add script to run tests. Okay, now with that in place, can we now get to our workflow and run the script? So this is the question. And will this work? I don't know. There are other things that I like to have in here that I've discovered are helpful. The problem with working with anything up in the cloud is it's slow. You have to like push a change and run it. Thank you for keeping up with the chat. You have to push a change and run it, and it's slow and can be painful. So it's good to get some extra stuff. I'm trying to remember, where have I mucked with this? And I think I've mucked with it in, again, another project. OC Makito. Here, I want this. Show me the version of Xcode. Because when we're going up to GitHub, what do you get? What are we running on? We're sort of running blind and on faith, and there are times when it gets like you're beating your head against the wall, and somebody else, especially if you're working in an ensemble or a team, will say, have we checked to see what version of Xcode GitHub is using? And it's like, oh, gosh, no, we didn't. So let's do that here. It looks like I have spaces throughout and everything lines up. All right, let's try it and see. So this will trigger on, if all goes well, it'll give us a button to trigger it by hand. So let's push this up. First, get back to the right project. Make sure we're here. Okay. And let's add that. There we go. And this will be, and I'll show this for Michaela. I should share the link to this for anyone who's interested. But this is called Arlo's commit notation, and it is a way of categorizing risk. You know, there are other notations. You've taught me about the emoji one. There's another notation that's popular for, like, is this a feature, a fix, a refactor, or so forth. What Arlo focuses on is what is the risk? What is the likelihood that this will break anything? And if it's got like double exclamation points, it's beware. Yeah, who knows where that emoji one is? It looks like fun. Double exclamation points is beware. You just wrote like more than 8 lines of code. Yes, great, great thing. Let me share also. Let me stay on target. It's so much fun to chat with y'all. But this is an environment change. Thank you, Marcus. This is basically the first crack at running tests on GitHub. All right, and let's push this. Yeah, that's the other one. Semantic notation, that's popular. If I look for mine, here is, for anyone who wants it, my version of taking Arlo's notation and bringing it into something that I can use as a commit template. So let's now go off to our thing, and actions now appears. I think this is new. If we go here, there's build, and here's run workflow. Drum roll. Let's see what it does. And then we'll call today to a close and probably keep refining this a little more before we get on. So here it is. It is now running. Let's have a look at it. Ivan, I'm afraid it's still showing you as suspicious because of your name change. I don't know how to change that. Maybe I'm going to make a note. It's always good to have notes. Some way to keep notes. Ivan name. I'm going to look into that. All right. Here it is. Uh-oh. It is died. So here's the thing. We can look at the current version of Xcode and see that it is Xcode 14.2. And what died? The simulator. It looks like unable to find a destination matching the iPhone 15. Available destinations. Come on, these are the available ones? Where are the others? Where's the rest of them? I'm puzzled. Not puzzled that it failed. Is Xcode 15 a part? Am I using one that is more up to date than Xcode 14? Let's see. There's what I'm puzzled about is that it didn't spit out the actual simulators available. But let's see. Bear with me. Let's try to get this, but I'm going to go over by a couple minutes. Xcode 14. I don't know what I'm looking for. So what's the min supported version in the project? Let's find out. So that's no good. Thank you. I think that's what's killing me, because we're running on Xcode 14 on GitHub. Yeah. Okay. So I think this is a good place to continue from next time, and to make it clear where to continue, I can say we got the script running locally on the GitHub Actions. We started it, but I need to is Xcode 15 available even? So this is either fix, use Xcode 15, or downgrade the target. Right? That'll be for next time. Well, we made some progress. I hope this was fun. It is always a little slower, but I'm not here to get this done. Thank you, Garbob. That might be something that we run. I'll make notes when I review this video. So hope this was fun. We did make some progress, and I think it's pretty clear where we're going next time. Thank you all for joining. For those of you who are watching after the fact on YouTube, if you've watched this far, give it a like. Come on. And subscribe and do the other things. I'll look. We can look later next week into getting this action up and running on GitHub.